poverty before we end the segment. Through your travels, I done traveled the whole United States, basically, but I've never been abroad. And I hear so many horror stories about, if you think you're poor now, go outside the United States in some poverty-stricken countries. What's up with that?
Well, half of the world lives, almost half the world. Half of the world lives on less than $2 a day.
Now, I have heard these statistics, like on info commercials. Is this true?
That's not only true. Get this. 1 out of every 3 people who die, 1 out of every 3 people who die in the world, die from poverty-related causes.
Wow.
Completely preventable deaths.
Wow. 300
million people have died because of poverty since 1989, in the last 20 years. Every one of those 300 million deaths were easily preventable. The UN defines the severe poor in the world as those making less than $400 US a year. That is about $1 a day, okay? And that's 15% of humanity earns $1 a day, okay? And that's a huge percentage of people. And the number of people dying, infant mortality rates, lack of sanitation, basic drinking water, lack of housing is pervasive all around the world, and it's also a problem that exists right within the United States.
Exactly. That's my next point. It's sad what's happening abroad, and I think everybody should play their part.
Yes.
Everybody should have some humanity about themselves and play their part. But the next question was going to be, why should the people watching us right now care about what's happening abroad? Why should we care? Why should I care about someone going hungry in sub-Saharan Africa, in Indonesia?
Because we are profiting from their suffering. That is,
how am I profiting?
We are all indirectly, in the sense that the United States is obtaining a huge amount of wealth and a huge amount of power. Its natural resources that it obtains are from these very poor countries. It obtains a huge amount of wealth on the backs of poor people who don't get due compensation for their work and for their labor.
So really, the point I'm really trying to see, I know, I'm just trying to get it out there to my audience. When you say we are profiting off the backs of others, are you talking about like those things as far as it's on
sure,
sweatshops?
that's a good example.
Exactly. So am I contributing to that when I buy a certain, I'm not going to mention it.
Look at the labels on your
clothes.
labels'
names, but am I contributing to that particular?
Exactly, because you're paying a low price for these clothes, and what's enabling you to pay the low price for these clothes is that these people are being paid starvation wages. So let me give you an example in terms of this. It's one thing to walk down the street and kill somebody you don't know. Everybody knows that would be immoral and illegal, right? But what if you're walking down the street and you see somebody about to be killed, and you can save their life, and you keep walking down the street and say, no, I'm not going to bother. You have actually become an accomplice in that person's death. And the problem that I think we have to come face to face with in this country is we are unwitting accomplices of people who are dying of poverty in the United States and around the world. Because it's happening because of the fact that there are sweatshops. It's happening because of the fact that there is slave labor still in large parts of the world. Everybody who has a cell phone has a piece of the country, the Congo, in their cell phone, because there's a superconductor that is mined in the Congo. Do you know how many people have died in the Congo over the last 7 years? 5 million people.
So what could we do about it? We can sit up here and talk about the problem all day long. What could we do about it? Before we buy clothing, we should do research and see which company is providing
we should do research, but this research has been done. This information is widely available. You can go online and read a number